The city of the future, it'll have to do with the reorganization of the territory, for sure. The city, as we know, is the city of buildings and of economy. And the city of the future can't be just about economy. So it'll be far more about an equilibrium between, let's say, the population, the place, and the functions that are housed in that city. In that sense, it'll demand, I think, a richer knowledge on the part of urban planners and maybe also architects than design beautiful spaces, for instance. So it's a challenge. It's a true challenge. Yeah, the issue of public space, that is a long debate. It's going on for decades by now. The death of public space has been advocated several times, and still we see that squares and well-designed spaces in the city function really well and are loved by the people. So there is a strange discrepancy between what, let's say, theorists and maybe professionals think that is happening in the city or is not happening in the city, and that digital networks, social networks are replacing public space in the city, and at the same time all these spaces are so well used. So in that sense it is tricky to predict what direction this will take. The meeting of the local and the global is quite evident, but also that this is on the level of an individual and not so much on the level of the collective. And since the public space in the city is the expression of collectivity, either market, either gathering space, whatever function it has, there seems to be a need or an urgency or a problem. But still, as I said before, it's not easy to say what the reality of the problem is, or that's mainly a theoretical issue. I don't have the recipe to say this is how you create well-functioning communities in your city. There is another aspect to it that I think needs highlighting, and that is that design can't ignore community, and that design more and more is dependent on the interaction with the community or communities. So in that sense, design is becoming more and more specific, localized on the one hand, where culture in general is globalizing. So there's these two tendencies. The globalizing goes hand in hand with localizing. As magazine, we're a theme-based and research-based magazine that tries to explore the potential for architecture and of architecture. We have the ambition to set the agenda for architecture. And we do that by exploring in different fields what the possibilities are, what the urgencies are, the opportunities and the urgencies. At present, we have the idea that architecture is more about addressing abstract notions like trust, like peace, real large issues, real large abstract notions, than about how to define or how to design a proper square or a proper building, because architecture is really clever in doing that. There's so much knowledge on that level, and I think we have to set the next step, move on to these other dimensions of society that really need addressing. Another riddle. There's a tremendous problem in architecture, huge unemployment among architects, of course, drastic reduction of assignments. All that is happening now. It seems that the future in that sense will not be like the past. It will be different, and architects have to face that they will have to work in a different way than they were used to. They won't have these big clients and big budgets to deal with. They will have maybe many small clients, and also the type of assignments will change. A less complete package of design and build, and far more process-oriented intervention and, let's say, assistance in realizing the client's wishes. So I see that the practice is changing, and also that there will be more diversity in practices. At current, you see that research, for instance, is a more important, growing in importance element in the practice of offices. But you also get different directions in specialization. So where you have now school architects and architects for housing or architects for hospitals, you will have community architects and architects for individual clients, of course, but also for these more, let's say, larger questions and larger issues. That's my prediction on that level.